All right, Dr. Chao, let's talk Super Bowl. And we'll start with Patrick Mahomes. Were you surprised at how effective he was able to be against the Bengals? Watching him at the end of the Jacksonville game, I was surprised that he looked as good as he did against the Bengals. You could still see it was bothering him. How much better do you think he'll even be now that he had 2 weeks before this game?
We were not surprised at all at Patrick Mahomes' performance. As a matter of fact, we feel at Sports Injury Central vindicated. We gave him a 6 score of 84 for that game, 84 out of 100, meaning he was 84% effective. Now, he probably was only 70% healthy. So this is the difference. We don't.
So the 6 score is how effective you think they'll be?
Yeah, and in a rough way, it's like if you expect 30 DFS points, maybe you get 84% of that. And in the end, well, he was 326 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks, quarterback rating 105.4. That's probably 84% for Patrick Mahomes. 100 is like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and whatever. But in any case, the reason why is we factor things in. We're not robots. And this is why the line flipped from Chiefs to Bengals. Oh my gosh, it's a high ankle. Because of who the player is. Look, when you're Mac Jones, no offense to Mac Jones, and you have a high ankle sprain and you're 70% healthy, you sit for a few weeks and Bailey Zappi gets the start. When you're Patrick Mahomes and you're 70% healthy, no offense to Chad Henne, you get the start, Patrick Mahomes. Now, why do we put him at 84? We knew he wasn't going to run, and we were saying under rush props, made it 8 yards, 4 yards on that last scramble, and under longest pass completion because he can't drive the ball downfield off his back foot. And we also knew scrambling to his left was going to be a problem. You saw him limping. Scrambling to his right based on his ankle was a little bit better. That was the last run. And we had him at 84. Now, we're not surprised at all. Why? Because of how he plays. This guy wrong foot throws all the time when he's healthy.
Oh, that's a good point.
He changes arm angles.
He works on off-platform throws.
Yes, that's his norm. I was talking to Jim Everett earlier yesterday about it. And he goes, yeah, those are every throw that coaches would say, you can't do that, you can't do that. But Mahomes does it and does it effectively. But for shorter throws. But you can't do that for deeper throws where you have to drive the ball. That's how he said longest pass completion under.
How much better do you think he'll be in the Super Bowl?
50% better than he was. But
so
not 100%.
What will his 6 score be?
91.
He's at 91.
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's not at 96.
What is Hurts' 6 score? Because when you've watched him in the 2 playoff games, he hasn't played great. And people are debating, is it he's just not playing as well, or is the shoulder bothering him? He's been very outspoken that the shoulder is bothering him. What's his score, and what do you see from Hurts?
Hurts' shoulder is healthier than Mahomes' ankle. His 6 score is 93.
Okay.
There's no doubt he still has pain. He's not lying. I mean, come on, everyone does, right? But here's the thing. What did Patrick Mahomes say leading up to the Bengals game? I'm fine. What did the Chiefs do? They listed him as full practice because they wanted nothing to see here. Don't be blitzing. Don't dive at the ankle. We're good. Why would Jalen Hurts and the Eagles be talking about his shoulder if it was vulnerable? They wouldn't be. They're just saying, yeah, the reality is it still hurts, but they're not that worried about it, or they'd be quiet about the injury. Come on, why would you say that? Now, I'm much more worried about, and I'm not anti-Jalen Hurts at all, I'm much more worried about rust than the actual shoulder. Let's look at it. The Eagles clearly were trying to rest him because they had the lead, right? And that worked out. They still had the home field advantage. Let's talk about the 49er game. The first 11 plays, he threw the ball 8 times, and they were moving the ball. Then Brock Purdy was hurt, and then the game script changed some. So is it surprising that Jalen Hurts didn't run the ball at all in the second half? No. Is it surprising he didn't run the ball much in that game? Not because of his shoulder. It was more of a mush rush. Fred Warner, stay at home, keep you in your, the rush lanes, etc. And then we can talk about that related to Lane Johnson next. And that's why his numbers weren't that good. In the second, he didn't need good numbers in that to win that game. To some extent, same with the Giants. So some of it is game script, and we're prisoners of the stats of the moment. But you watch film a lot, I know that. If you really look, you won't see anything wrong with his shoulder.
Well, I didn't notice anything, but I didn't know if maybe you did.
No, I don't.
Okay, last question. The receivers for the Chiefs, Kadarius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster. We're recording this on Wednesday morning. They've practiced the last 2 days. This is airing on Friday's show, the Super Bowl preview. What do you know about their injuries, and what will their 6 scores be for the big game?
We are optimistic that Kadarius Toney will be fine.
What was his injury?
We didn't see it on the game film, but coach's film, it's a left ankle inversion ankle sprain.
Okay.
Standard basketball type.
Yep.
We actually like the matchup of Toney against Avonte Maddox with the turf toe, which we don't think Avonte Maddox is that healthy. Fans have said, well, he did well last game. Who threw the ball in the second half of the game? Nobody for the 49ers. So, yeah, he did well, but was he tested is the question. So we have got good confidence, and he will be in the low 90s as we finalize the practice reports. Juju's a little more of a mystery because it happened in practice. We're expecting it to be more of a patella tendonitis thing that he can play through, and we'll probably have him at 90, but we'll see as the reports come out. And obviously, Mecole Hardman's been ruled out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire activated as now a backup to Pacheco. But before we go, because you're an offensive lineman, I got to ask you and run my thoughts about Lane Johnson by you. I think the key to the Super Bowl is Lane Johnson. That's the position that I'm going to watch. Why? He did fine against Nick Bosa by the numbers. His PFF grades are 5 or 10 points lower than the regular season. But what did he do to get through? Social media saying, he's offsides, he's offsides. That wasn't by accident.
Oh, no.
That was by design.
Well, he tries to do it all the time, though.
Yeah, but
he tries to jump the count all the time.
Yes, and it's legal. What he does, it's fine. But and then look at where his pass set was. A yard deeper than normal to help because of Nick Bosa and because of his groin adductor. And there were a couple of times that he got bull rushed a step or two back. But then watch the film. Nick Bosa then sits back after that. He doesn't finish.
Well, because they didn't want Hurts to be able
Correct.
to escape.
So that let Lane Johnson off the hook. So if to me, here's the chess match, and I'm not trying to be a coach, but I want to hear your opinion. I mean, if they put Chris Jones on him and bull rush Lane Johnson,
well,
I don't think he has a chance.
The Giants put Dexter Lawrence on him for a couple reps in that game, who's 350 pounds, to try to test him, and he got knocked back. It was hard for Lane to sustain against that. You got to check him out on social media at ProFootballDoc. He is the best in the business. If you don't go to SixScore.com to make sure you know the health injury information for any player in any football game, you're doing it wrong. Thank you so much for coming on the show, as always.
Pleasure.